Now, I know with interest rates being a little higher, some of you are asking for some great options as far as so you can still make this beautiful Northeast Florida, St. Johns County lifestyle yours. And so today we're going to be looking at some townhome options that'll give you the opportunity to still be a part of some of our great, amazing vacation resort style communities like Nocatee, like Shearwater, etc. And we're going to unpack some of the pros and cons of townhome living for you today. Now, you may ask, why I'm on a golf cart? Well, one of our builders is offering you the opportunity to actually not just purchase one of their homes with great incentives and great prices, but they're throwing in a golf cart as well. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're going to give you all the details of what you need to know about pricing, pros and cons of living in a townhome that you should consider, and some of the incentives that are being offered right now. All right, stay tuned. Today, I am so excited to unpack with you a topic we haven't covered much on this channel, which is a variety of multi-family living options such as townhomes or townhouses, however you want to structure it. And today we're going to unpack some of the pros and cons of townhome living that you can expect. So before you make that buying decision, I want to make sure again that you have all the information you need to make an informed decision. Now, I actually bought a townhome. My first home purchase was a townhome when I was my first year as a teacher. And so I'm going to give you some of my personal experiences as well, as far as some of the pros and cons that I experienced owning a townhome that you could maybe run into as well. Now, I thought we'll also do a tour of some townhomes in a variety of price ranges from the low mid to high 300,000s to the mid 400,000s and upward. So we're going to try to fit in 3 if we can by the end of this video as we unpack some of the pros and cons of townhome living, okay? Now, we're actually standing in one of my absolute favorite floor plans. This is actually an interior townhome, guys. Now, I want you to notice the amount of windows. You know how much I am obsessed with natural light. So this townhome has so much natural light, guys, but it is an interior townhome, meaning there's a townhome on the left and the right of this townhome, but you would never know it because it feels like the size of a home. This floor plan is actually over 2,000 square feet. As you see, it opens as a grand open here. This is the living space downstairs, but I'm actually upstairs. It actually has a 19-foot grand opening here. It might be 18. Okay, so just so you see, you do have a range of options. Now, you might be saying, well, who is a townhome for? Well, it can be for anyone, of course, but people that tend to flock towards townhomes and townhomes that tend to be a good option for busy professionals. At the time, I was a new teacher trying to learn everything I needed to know about teaching, and I didn't really have time to find a yard person, find somebody to pressure wash my house and all the rest of that stuff. And it was affordable for, being on a young teacher salary, okay? So townhomes are great for busy professionals. They're great for snowbirds. So people that maybe only come to Florida during the winter or wherever they are, and maybe they're only here for 5 or 6 months, so they don't want to have to worry about someone pulling weeds and cutting grass and trimming bushes, but they can come have their own, say, attached single family home. They love townhomes, okay? So busy professionals, snowbirds, even those that are investors. I was amazed when I owned my townhome, when I went to go rent it out as a rental. I was shocked how many floods of people were trying to rent this townhome. For rentals, townhomes typically are very popular, I will say, here in Northeast Florida. People like the idea of not having someone to, stomping on the top of them like you would, say, in an apartment or, say, a condo. People love townhomes, so they're great rentable options if you're in a community that allows for long-term rentals. Most of our HOA communities won't allow for short-term rentals here in Northeast Florida. And they're great for families that are maybe just starting out. And maybe you're a new family just getting off the ground. Maybe you're 2 teachers just getting off the ground. And you want to make sure that you want to get into a community that has a great school district, that has great amenities, like say you want to purchase in Nocatee. The average single family home in Nocatee, which is the #1 master plan community, as you've heard us talk about on this channel, the average home is around $700,000 in Nocatee. And that may be a little more than what you're willing to spend right now. But a townhome in Nocatee could be a great option. And we're going to show you one of those options as well, because that way you can get in at a more affordable price that might suit your budget and still be able to enjoy the great schools, the great amenities, and the great offerings. All right. So we went over what is a townhome and who is a townhome for. So let's go into some, should we start with the pros or cons? I like the pros. I always like to start on a positive note. So let's talk about the pros, okay?
Now, before we dive into some of the pros of townhome living, I thought we'll go through a brief walkthrough of one of my favorite interior townhome floor plans. Now, what I like most about this floor plan is not just the elevated living space here that you see, is the amount of natural light. This is actually shot on a very rainy day, so it's very cloudy outside, but you will see there is a tremendous amount of natural light and windows throughout this floor plan, really elevating this space and adding a degree of vibrancy throughout every angle of this home. Now, this floor plan again is over 2,000 square feet. It is 3 bedrooms. It actually is 3 full bathrooms with a half bath downstairs with a generous loft that overlooks the living room area as well, with an open kitchen concept as you see here, with the owner suite downstairs and the remaining bedrooms upstairs with a 2-car garage. Now, again, sorry I had to shoot this on a rainy day, but I wanted to be sure to get you this information in a timely manner. Now, as we walk through this floor plan, I want you to think through, could you see this working for you and your family? Let me get your thoughts in the comment section. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to push that like button and share. All right, stay tuned, guys. For time's sake, guys, we're only going to be able to do an abbreviated tour of each of the townhome options that may be available here in Jacksonville, St. Johns County, as well as St. Augustine. But no, we have a range of options available of townhomes that feel like homes. So if you would like more in-depth information or like the full video tour of this particular townhome or other options available, remember we have townhomes ranging from $365 to the upwards of over $600,000. It just depends on the neighborhood as well as the size of the townhome. So be sure to reach out if you want more in-depth information or private videos sent to you of these particular townhomes. All right, stay tuned, guys, as we unpack more on the pros and cons of townhomes.
The low maintenance living of being in a townhome is one of the biggest pros. 2, cost effective as far as pricing to get you in the neighborhood. And 3, community. I remember when I first bought my first little townhome as a first-year teacher, it just happened to be I bought in a building where everybody was a teacher, because all of us were, wanted to make smart economic decisions and not waste money on renting, but that's all we could afford was a townhome. And we got along so great. I would jump over to their townhome and we'll play cards and had fun, and it was just a really great time. And it's a really great sense of community, because you really do get the opportunity, if you like, to get to know your neighbors, because you guys are a little closer. So that is something. Now, granted, depending on how your townhomes are structured, or if you're getting ones with the doors on the exterior side of the building, you may not see your neighbors as much, but that community feel is a great advantage.
Now, speaking of community, let's take a step away to explore some townhome options in the #1 master plan community right here in Northeast Florida, which is Nocatee. Now, Nocatee is known for its resort style living. It has its own water park, great restaurants, great schools, and a lot of other luxury amenities. Now, a townhome option could be a great way to get into this community at an affordable price. Now, the average home in Nocatee starts around the $700,000 range, but with one of their townhomes, you can enjoy this resort style living every day for only $485. That's out the door, guys. Everything included, $485. There's some great incentives going on with these townhomes in Nocatee, where even one of the builders currently right now are offering, upon closing on their townhomes, they're offering you a golf cart as well. So that is something really to take advantage of. Also, there's 3 additional builders here in Nocatee that is offering villas as well as large family-sized townhomes as well. Now, if you would like more in-depth information as far as pricing, as far as availability, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm happy to send you a full video tour of each of the options and get the pricing for you so you can make an informed decision. All right, stay tuned, guys, as we unpack more on the pros and cons of townhome living right here in Northeast Florida. Now, this again is just an abbreviated tour of one of the townhome options available in Nocatee. This is actually just one story of the townhome. There's an additional story downstairs, but let's jump back into some of our pros and cons of townhome living.
You're sharing, you know, you may have somebody above you, under you, to the side of you, and to the other side of you. People love the townhome living option because they don't necessarily have to hear people stomping on top, so they're highly rentable and could be a great investment if you buy in a neighborhood that allows that. Other great things about townhome, guys, is that you still have a yard. I want to turn the camera around so you can see. Now here's a full glimpse of the backyard of this townhome. All right, stay tuned for more. All right, guys, so what did you think about some of our pros of townhome living in our tour of this gorgeous townhome? Now, we're downstairs again. This is just showing you another angle of the townhome, and I wanted you to see the amount of natural light, again, that's coming in at every angle of this interior townhome, all right? But let's talk about some of the cons of townhome living. Now, even with owning a home, owning a mansion, or anything, you're gonna have pros and you're gonna have cons, all right? So let's jump into some of the cons. Now, the cons typically range from everything from having fees that may go up over time, to maybe having a smaller yard, to townhomes being maybe a little more cookie cutter than you maybe would like, okay? So starting with the fees. Now, I will tell you this, typically, because you have someone else maintaining your landscaping, your irrigation, pressure washing your building. They're responsible for your roof, everything. Exterior of the townhome, they're responsible for. So you will have a fee, a monthly fee that is involved typically with that maintenance, okay? Some HOAs are paid quarterly, but for the most part, it should be every month. I've seen HOA fees for townhomes be as small as $75 a month to some as high as $500 a month. Now, when I owned a townhome, I think my fee was like $130, $140 a month, and it included cable at the time. When cable was a big deal. That's how old I am, guys. Having cable was a big deal. Okay, but over time, I would say towards the end, I did notice a fluctuation in my fees, that they took away some services like cable and then added some other things that the cost of maintaining the landscape or the cost of maintaining the community did go up over time. And so I did notice over the length of owning that townhome for, say, a decade, those fees maybe went up maybe $30 or $40 a month, like extra $30, $40, okay? So the fees are something to keep in mind. For me, it was a fair trade-off at the time because I didn't want to have to worry about the exterior or anything concerning it, and I love just being able to take out my trash. That was what worked for me. Everyone gets a little worked up about sharing a wall, but I will tell you that in my experience in living in a very cheap townhome, but it means it wasn't made by the highest quality builder like this townhome, I rarely heard anything, guys. And this is not me trying to blow smoke. I know I heard when my neighbors would have a party and they put the speaker in the wrong direction, like facing my townhome. I would hear that bass, or I think I heard one time when one of my neighbors fell. Like it was a big bump. They fell down the stairs. But I was in a very poorly made townhome. If you're concerned about sound and sharing a wall, I would definitely recommend buying with a more higher end builder that use a higher grade material in between you and your neighbor, because typically there's going to be drywall, insulation, firewall, insulation, firewall, drywall. So it's going to be almost a foot of material to shield you and act as a soundproof between you and your neighbor. And if that is something that concerns you, sound, I would talk to people that actually have currently purchased in that community. Other cons that you will experience as far as townhomes that I need you to really be aware of and be selective on where you pick to choose is parking. Now, if you choose to live in a townhome community that have one car garage, you will notice that most families have two cars And parking sometimes can be an issue, especially if you buy in a townhome community that does not have extra parking spaces for those that may.
Though there's so much more to cover, we are out of time for today. Now you want to be sure that you stay tuned for our part 2, and be sure to check the video tab at the top of this channel. That way you can pull up all our videos. All right, stay tuned, and please know I'm here to help as your Florida real estate agent, relocation specialist, and new home construction advisor. This is Kashira Francis signing off for now. Stay tuned.